China has set up their blockchain service network. UAE is actually tokenizing billions of real estate just in the last 1 year. Also, we have countries like Estonia, which is actually boasting about their digital public infrastructure. However, India seems to be lagging behind in this particular race. Welcome to TMM Fireside, where we are exploring the cutting-edge technology that is reshaping global economy. I'm your host, Mike, and today we are exploring one of the most pressing questions that we have today, that why is an economy like India, which is the fourth largest economy in the world, and essentially the brain power behind the entire Silicon Valley of the globe, is lagging behind in a pertinent advancement of technology which relates to AI and blockchain. To help us understand this paradox today, we have a special guest with us, Mr. Tapan Sangal, who is the founder and director at the Kalp Foundation, who is a lawyer by education, so he has a very unique perspective about this entire situation. Mr. Sangal, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, fantastic, sir. Nice to have you on the show. And let's just jump into the fire straight away. I'll shoot the first question.
Please.
As I mentioned, China has their own blockchain service network that is spread across 120 cities now. It's all connected somehow. And, US has also rolled out Genius and Stable Act. However, we had not been able to see or, view any such initiatives coming from India.
So you mentioned China's blockchain service network.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this China's blockchain service network is actually a controlled environment, totally controlled. If you will go through their white paper, you would know that they have access to all the data in the nodes, and it's nothing but a surveillance tool for them. And that's about China's. You mentioned Estonia and why India is not doing anything. That's a population of only 1.3 million. My smallest state like Meghalaya has a population larger than Estonia. Our POCs breach that kind of a number that they are so gaga about. Yes, there is a very good act which US has come out with, which you just mentioned, Genius Acts. Let's just take a step back. What US has done is they've scrapped their CBDC program, and since they've scrapped their CBDC program, what they need to do now is they need to promote stablecoin, which is US-backed dollars, US-backed stablecoins. Now what's happening in India, let me just tell you about that. So I disagree that India is lagging behind. Yes, we are not thumping our chest yet, but mind you, India is way, way ahead in rest of the people. Just see, what we are talking about at the end of the day is the digitization of this whole world. DPI is par excellence and it leads anywhere. We have already sorted the identity through our Aadhaar. We have sorted the payments through our UPI. What is left is purely nothing but ownership intelligence that we shall soon sort through tokenization. So, mind you, rest of the countries that you mentioned are working around it. Yes, we have not mentioned, but there is so much happening even on the blockchain space. You've spoken about crypto and blockchain in the same breath. Blockchain is one part of it, and blockchain as part of the DPI is already being rolled out in India. It is only the crypto we have taken a stand as a country that we will not support crypto, which is good. But in spite of that, we have a tax regulation. We have identified the virtual digital asset, and we are taxing it at a certain rate. But what it also means is that we are conscious of what is happening. And, mind you, we are a population of 140 million.
We are a large population.
1.4 billion people. And there is always a way to roll out any new tech to this large amount of population.
No, I absolutely agree. Especially, I do realize that China and public or decentralized do not belong in the same sentence together. So I absolutely agree with you on that point, sir. However, as we have the amazing, I would say, community of technologists, the software programmers, and after the 2022, as you mentioned, the taxation framework actually being rolled out, what could be the potential reasons that we have not actually seen a major initiatives or declaration of policy aimed towards blockchain and AI for that matter? What could be the holdback, that might actually be stopping these kind of initiatives being announced for, let's say, the policy perspective?
So announcement is just one piece of it. What we are doing about is more important. So when you mentioned about the tax law, mind you, after those tax laws, India has come out with 2 notifications. One notification is where they have carved out asset-backed token outside the definition of VDA. So what it basically means is that they are actually promoting the real-world asset tokenization. It's no more going to be tax if it's a tangible asset-backed token. It is not under the definition of VDA, hence that kind of taxation is not applicable to it. Secondly, another notification that we've come out with is that any tokenization program that happens for the purpose of promotion, for the purpose of rewards, they are not under VDA. So mind you, how consciously we are working on. We are realizing the potential of this technology and we are working towards the real use cases of this technology. Yes, we are not following the whole gaga about crypto and why not crypto. At the end of the day, crypto is a zero-sum game. Somebody is making money at the cost of someone else. So from that point of view, if India has taken a stand on terms of CBDC as the digital currency, this is what it is. Because at the end of the day, on blockchain, the promise of blockchain or the promise of crypto is instant settlements, instant transactions. All of that is possible through the digital money, through CBDC. All it needs is programmability, and those things are already in place. And mind you, also India, through RBI, through SEBI, has come out with a number of sandboxes. In these sandboxes, what they're saying is they are inviting the new innovators, they're inviting the startups to come to these sandboxes and demonstrate that your tech would interact with the existing tech infrastructure seamlessly. It would not disrupt the existing digital infrastructure, and it would enhance the overall target, the overall objective of this entire digital ecosystem that the whole globe is after.
That's why we need a lawyer's perspective, because you and I could never actually know that these notifications are coming out. And just to follow up on what you said, Mr. Sangal, you mentioned something about sandboxes. So for easy understanding of our audience, can you just help us understand what are sandboxes and what is the importance of these sandboxes and implementation of this new age technology?
Even before we get on to that question, and I will in a minute, I must say something, make a statement. And the statement being that, what is the mandate of these regulators? The mandate of these regulators is not to promote new technology or innovation. It is for the protection of the larger investor base, protection of the marginalized people, protection of the underprivileged people. Because whenever a new technology comes, we've seen what all is happening in the crypto world everywhere. I mean, you read all kinds of scams, all kinds of manipulations, market manipulations. You do need a safe environment. So now coming back to Sandbox. So what Sandbox does is, Sandbox is a way of governments and the regulatory bodies to invite any new innovation, any new startup to come and work in a regulated environment. What they do is they open up their regulated environment. You tell them that this is what this tech is going to do, or this is the idea, or this is the business that I want to create that would enhance the overall objective, that would support the overall objective. And for that purpose, they open up, they provide you all kinds of APIs. You need to interact with various digital machineries like UPI, like also there are a lot of these institutes which are governing or regulating one or the other pieces. And when you work in the real world, you need to interact with all these things. So in a sandbox, they give you access so that you can calibrate your technology, you can demonstrate, and once you are stable in this regulated environment, they permit you to go out and work.
So you can actually test out all the possible solutions that are being built out and how they work with the existing system. And more importantly, if they keep the general public, the end user secure, and it gives like a real good opportunity for entrepreneurs to go ahead and, work with the government and the existing systems to understand actually how the outcome will impact the general population.
Absolutely.
Perfect. See, I'm also learning here, so it's important to get a confirmation. I'll just, touch base on something that might actually be very close to your heart. With Kalp Foundation, you are working very closely with DePINs, decentralized physical infrastructure networks. And now, as far as I've read, sir, and I've actually understood it, they can be really, really impactful, open up a lot of doors, open up a lot of opportunities, not just people, around us, but as a nation as well for us. Can you just shed some light on, what does DePIN actually mean and how it can actually take us forward, path of progress that we want to be on as a country?
The whole concept of DePIN is that as we digitize, we have these connected devices. So whether these devices are providing you information on climate, or these devices are, just to give you a very crude example, if you order something, it needs to reach you at a particular temperature. And how do you ensure that it is reaching you at a particular temperature? There would be these Internet of Things, the IoT devices, which are implanted, which ping the temperature of that particular product that needs to reach you at a particular temperature. And then that data is recorded and presented to ensure that, yes, this product has traveled to you. So it's a very simple example. If a medicine has to be in a frozen condition and it has to reach you from the start point to the end point, which is you, how do you ensure that it has reached you? Normal food also that you order. We live in a country which has extreme weather environment. How do you ensure that your delivery? So that's a small example of it. However, if I apply it, say, you could have a network of a grid mesh for the purpose of individuals who have installed solar panels. They may not be absorbing all the solar energy that is, or using the solar energy which has been created because of their capital investment. There is some surplus energy. You could have network of these such energy providers, and they get paid automatically. And for that purpose, all this data needs to be transparently recorded, and these data need to be immutable in nature so that they are not manipulated. There is no middleman involved out here. And these are the kind of decentralized systems or the physical infrastructures which gets connected through internet, and a data is created, and that data is put in blockchain, and then you could track the whole system overall. And for that, there is a network which needs to be put together, and that network needs to be decentralized and immutable and transparent so that there is trust that exists out there, and I get paid for having contributed my excess, maybe it is net, or maybe it is power, or whatever I'm producing because of my investment.
So correct me if I got the subject of it. DePINs can actually help us create these transparent, decentralized marketplaces to go ahead and trade certain things which were just absolutely untradeable until now.
Absolutely.
Electricity and the Wi-Fi example that you just...
Yeah, these are all some of the small examples. There are multiple climate. The local climate is very important. Why should you rely on a centralized climate? You don't know if that data which is reaching you, is it correct data or not data? So here is a database which is immutable, which is transparent, and if data gets collected out there, and then it is not owned by a central body, it is owned by the whole network, whoever is contributing to it. Forget about that. Tomorrow we'll reach a point where we all are buying our phones, so we're not using the compute in totality. So computation, like you asked about the computation as one of the things that we would need. Excess computation which I'm not using on my phone, on my laptop, if I'm able to provide that computation or contribute that computation to an overall requirement of computation, imagine what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And that gives me a foray into stepping into something which is, again, a very important aspect of the overall technology front, which is AI. As far as I know, sir, we have had a recent announcement about India AI mission, wherein about 10,300 crores have been allocated to progress, Indians' initiatives and to support the AI infrastructure that we need to actually develop. Now, noticing what has been happening ever since the launch of ChatGPT, that's where the world actually started paying attention to AI. There are multiple examples across the world wherein it might seem like, or at least it seems to me, like a common person like me, that the world is far ahead. They have their own LLMs, they have their own computational power, And we, as a country, India, wherein we actually have the strongest brain power network when it comes to software engineers, we have not been able to, get to the points. We have the indigenous LLMs being created, and there's brain drain happening because of that, and we are lagging behind in terms of being the computational power that we actually need to set up as infrastructure to be able to enable that AI revolution in India and from India. So how do you think we are supposed to cover up that gap that is already there, between the other nations that are running forward with this AI technology and where we are at right now?
So let me unbundle this entire AI ecosystem for you. You mentioned LLM. LLM is one piece of it. Another aspect is computation power. And then the third aspect is data. These are the three important components. LLM today are models, thanks to ChatGPT and the other models. There are a number of free LLMs, and these LLMs currently are able to help you create another LLM yourself. They can write a code for you, they can create it. So LLM is not the main component. The main component remains data, of course, computation power. We will talk about computation power because these LLMs to assess and to go through this entire data need computation. We'll come to the computation power, but then the most important part is this data. And this data, the quality of this data would decide the performance of that LLM or that AI. Reading about hallucination which is happening in various AIs, or biasness which is coming through these AIs. There is a huge talk about ethical aspect of the AI. We need to see if AI is behaving ethically. It's not that important that if it has been made ethically. Making it ethically means that the data on which you've trained it, you actually had the right to train your LLM on that data. So that is like creating it or developing it ethically. What is more important is whether your LLM is behaving ethically. So that's one important part. And the most important part is this data. The kind of population we are. The kind of digital footprint we as a population, as a country is creating on a daily basis. It's gigabytes and gigabytes. I don't know the gigabytes. And even above, that is the kind of data that we are creating. And imagine this data. And today, the whole world, there is a huge amount of regulatory activism. Every country is saying that my data is my property. India is like GDPR, India has come out with their own Data Protection Act. So the data and the ownership of data and the availability of data to train these LLMs is the crux of it. We, like you mentioned, we today currently are working on annotation of this data, putting these data into various baskets. The kind of intelligence we want out of this data is also very important. One is the general AI. Another aspect is there is this concept of micro agents which would be trained in those local data, which would have specialized intelligence, not generalized intelligence, like the medical data that we are creating, or data on our history, the legal data. All these things are coming together, and India with its digital position and the DPI, with our UPI and ID, we are in the situation where who's sitting on data and the quality of that data. We are way ahead in that situation. And now it's a question of this data passing through the right channel and providing us the right intelligence which would help us grow as a country and take us a lead in everything. You need intelligence around your agriculture. We need an intelligence that support us in our environment, about us. And that would happen only if we train it on our data, and that was gonna happen soon.
And that's really encouraging to hear because this perspective does not get talked about enough. We have something called data superiority, and that can actually take us forward when it comes to AI front ahead of the rest of the countries that are actually in the race. If you don't mind, for our audience, can you please just help us understand how the data superiority would actually function when it comes to life, maybe with an example, so that for the audience it becomes really easy to understand?
Well, I have a very simple and a very beautiful example somebody shared with me, and I totally agree with. Consider it like this: LLM is a juicer. Okay, electricity is your compute, but the juice that you will get depends on the kind of apples and the kind of vegetables that you put in.
Yeah.
So that's the data. So that data would decide the kind of juice that you have. And believe me, the kind of fruits in terms of data that we have, which is already in different baskets, in terms of the segregation, is just beautiful. It's just a matter of syncing all of that and putting it into this juicer to have the right kind of juices which are healthy, which will make us healthy. I hope that explains this entire AI ecosystem.
So we're going to have healthy AI, guys, just like the best apple juice that we get in India. All right, to sum up then, I don't want to take too much of your time here. If you were in let's say, an advisory position in terms of policy making and with all the, revelations that you actually shared today, what would be your advice to this younger generation, the Gen Z, which are the future entrepreneurs, the students today, who are actually looking to contribute, taking India forward in this front?
Well, I would say that please don't wait for any kind of announcements or regulations or anything. All the regulations that you need to create anything is already in existence. Why you need a specialized regulation? If the whole world is talking about tokenizing the real world asset, that real world asset and the regulations for that real world asset are already in existence. All the sectoral regulations, industrial regulations, geographical regulations are all in place. By tokenizing, all you are doing is you are basically dematerializing or de-documentifying the ownership. That's what you're doing. Rest everything is there. You don't have to wait. You have to be conscious of the environment in which you are building and why you are building it. Don't be pulled into the whole hype thing and the other stuff which is being spoken about into the market and think that we are anywhere less and we're not doing much. We are open to create things. Please come and create with that conscious mind that what I'm creating is not for the purpose of speculation, it is not short term, it is going to contribute and it's going to solve some real problems. The moment you create something like this, no amount of regulation, rather regulation will come and support you around that.
Oh, okay. So you understand, guys, the field is out there for you to explore. It's full of opportunities. You just have to take a step forward. And if you need guidance, if you don't mind me sharing this, Mr. Sangal is very supportive. He's available on LinkedIn and he's publishing a series of, I would say, guidebook for entrepreneurs and students to follow, because learning is going to be your, I would say, lightning weapon that you can utilize. So please do follow him on LinkedIn. He's publishing an amazing series, which I'm following as well. And you might actually learn something that might actually help you build the next $1 billion or multi-billion-dollar AI or blockchain initiative.
I would say $1 trillion.
All right, let's settle on that number. $1 trillion is it rings in the ears much better. So that's about it, sir. I would like to thank you for your time today and appreciate the insights. And if anybody would like to, go ahead and become part of the show, become a contributor, and take advantage of becoming an owner, which would be the first ever experiment in ownership of a IP like Token Money Magnet, you can simply go on our live airdrop, which is live right now on our website. You can go ahead and do that through our X account as well, on the YouTube account as well, and you can become an owner of the show. You will get more information as soon as you visit any of these accounts. So thank you for today, and wait for the next episode. You're going to have much better revelations, insight into the world of tokenization, RWA, and blockchain technology.